The following program is brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization. Hello, and welcome to the Heart of the Matter radio show, hosted by Lorena Jefferson. Author of the book, The Heart of the Matter, Lorena is a lifestyle management coach who is determined to empower the community with the information and resources necessary to build our families and communities. We are global, so listen in every Tuesday at 7 p.m. at talkwatchstudios.com for the Heart of the Matter sessions. We are interactive, and your insights matter. So call us at 813-639-8255 to participate in our discussion. And now, let's get to the heart of the matter.
Hello, and welcome to the Heart of the Matter. I'm Lorena Jefferson, your host, and Victor's back, my
Victor's
co-host.
back. Hey.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back.
Awesome.
Feeling much better.
Feeling better?
Yes.
Very important.
Yes.
We're so glad you're feeling better.
Glad. Me too.
You guys should have seen that face Victor had, I have to tell. Before your cameras turned on us, he was clowning already. So let me let you know Victor's back, okay? Because he's a clown. He's being a clown, and it's a good thing because it's there are certain distinctions that make this show amazing, and specific personalities is what really captures the audience. So many people have had so many opinions about you and I because of our difference. We're so different, right?
Oil and water.
Yeah, but that's okay. But we're not oil and water. We're more like oil and what do you call it that goes on salad? Vinegar and water? Vinegar and oil.
Vinegar and oil.
Because we're able to feed off of each other, and we're able to learn from each other, and we're able to blend, and we're okay with not being the same.
That's right.
And it's very important because that's what it's all about, is everybody finding their individualism, everybody getting comfortable in their own skin, right?
That's right.
Everybody learning to accept each other for who they are, and it's very important because on the journey that we're on, there's these trials and tribulations, there's ups and downs, there's mountains and valleys. You guys know, anybody that's living knows what we're talking about, but imagine being in a world, because we know that's how life is.
Exactly.
But being able to be in the space with someone that we can be ourselves, go through our challenges, and still be accepted.
Yep.
And guys, that's very important.
That will save a lot of people a lot of problems.
A lot of hurt, too.
Accept others for who they are.
Right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Some people think they can change someone when they meet them and they become friends, or they get in a relationship and they feel like, well, I can change this person. They recognize things they don't like about the person or that's annoying to them. And they say, well, maybe I can change them.
That's right. That's right.
Doesn't work.
And let me tell you, because I tried it quite a few times. Each time the answer is no and no and no. And you still have to come to that revelation where, you know what? I'm either going to accept this person or I need to delete myself from this space. It's not even a bad thing or good or bad or right or wrong. It just is, because when we're in the vicinity of other people, remember we were talking about life experiences. And even what you and I do, this is a life experience. I'm sharing my life space with you, and you're sharing your life space with me, but it's like me going into your house and saying, oh, I don't like where your couch is. Let me move it. I don't like what you're wearing. When I come to your house, I want you all in white. Oh, yeah, you know how silly that sounds, right?
I know.
But people come into other people's life space and they want to disfigure and transform everything
about them.
Right? Yeah. And that's important for us to discuss, because we're even told and taught sometimes that it's okay, that it's all right to do that, and it's not okay to do that. You know, people will change based on the dynamic that is set in the relationship. So it's okay for a person to adjust, but it's okay for a person to adjust if they choose to adjust to fit in your life space. It's not okay for you to come in and try to adjust them to fit in your life space. That makes sense?
It makes a lot of sense. But, you know, I was having a conversation today with a young lady who was distressed about her relationship. And I was explaining to her that it is perfectly okay to love someone, to care about them, and yet not be in the relationship with them.
Love it. Love it. Because that's real love.
Yep. Yes, I've had that discussion with some relatives of mine, and I strongly believe that everyone that you is in love with or that you love, because I think there's a difference between being in love with someone and loving someone. You don't always have to be in a relationship with them. Things don't always work out because you love them. And people have to understand that.
That's right.
That would save so much of fighting and all of this, not fighting physically or verbally, but fighting with yourself.
Hurt.
And all this emotions up and down, roller coaster type of relationship. Because it's okay to walk away, yet still love that person.
Absolutely. And you know, Victor, I love that, because I've had so many conversations in the last week about that. And the world, what happens is, you know, we talk about identity theft, and we talk about how our identities have been stolen by our programming that we receive. From the time we came out of the womb, we've been programmed. Yeah. This is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong, by our parents, by our environment,
teachers,
by our
friends, aunts, uncles, everybody.
That's right. That's right. And as innocent children, then we really didn't have any equipment to decide. So what we did is we adopted everyone's values and everyone's decisions and their opinions of things. And then we came to that time in our life where we could actually make logical decisions. And sometimes we said, well, you know, Mom was right about that, but I really don't agree with that. So I'm not going to adopt that as my way of life or my style that I'm going to go by. And that's okay, because when we see that, then we call people maturing. You know, but really what they're doing is they're stealing back their identity. Yeah. They're deciding who they want to be.
Making their own choices.
That's right. They're practicing freedom and free will. And it's very important. And the reason I'm talking about that behind what you said is I really want to piggyback on that, because it's so important to understand that love, what we call love, is what we've been programmed to believe as love. And so many of us really, really believe that love is an emotion. Love is not an emotion. Love is a choice.
It's a choice.
It's a choice because, and this is why I say that. Emotions come when you invest, but emotions come if you choose to invest. This is why I say that. You have your wife. You love your wife.
Oh, is that a question?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you, girl, I'll get it for you if you don't answer that question. But you love your wife,
absolutely,
right? Okay, but you've met women before who were interested.
Yes.
They had great characteristics.
And sense.
I think you're trying to say something, but that's okay. I got it over here.
I'm just having a little fun. Yes,
but
I've met
you know
women
what
before.
I mean? And you've met women before. They weren't bad women.
No,
they were good. They had good characteristics.
Yep.
They wanted great things out of life.
They were beautiful.
They were beautiful.
Yep.
They knew how to treat you.
Yes.
You've even shared intimate times with them,
Yes.
right?
They were beautiful.
But they, for whatever reason, you decided, well, I'm going to allow her this far, but I'm not going to allow her that far into my heart.
Sure.
So you were able to practice and have a relationship, but it was a relationship that had no real long-term goals in it. But for whatever reason, when you met your wife, whenever it was that you made that decision, this is my wife, you made that decision. You could have chosen any woman who was in your vicinity. You could have waited till you met another woman, but you made a decision. This is the woman that I'm going to spend my life with, right?
Yes. Well, let me explain something to you real quick.
Okay. Oh, my gosh. Listen, we want to hear what you got to say about this.
I met my wife and we started dating when I was 19 and she was 17.
Absolutely.
We dated for a few years and then we went our separate ways and stayed friends, whatever. And I met other women and she met other guys. Mm-hmm. But I always thought that she was something special, completely different, right? Meeting these other women. So eventually my wife and I reconnected.
Absolutely.
So she was the first woman that I fell in love with, and the only woman that I fell in love with, to tell you the truth. But yes, I did meet women afterwards. I don't consider like when you're a teenager, like 14, 15, 16. I mean, that's just puppy love or whatever.
Why?
It's
just choice.
Yeah. I mean, you living at home with mom and dad, you plan on moving somewhere.
But the thing is this, though. Think about it.
I hear you.
How many adults met people, said they were in love, and they broke up quicker than a high school sweetheart would have broken up?
Well, yes.
40, 50 years old.
Yep, I agree.
So love is a choice.
It is a choice.
Because in your marriage, has your marriage been 100% smooth and easy going the whole time?
No, not at all.
Absolutely. So because you made the choice to love, it gives you an extra incentive and motivation for working through things because you've chosen to love this person.
Yes.
There are many people who say that they love someone, but when the hard times come, when things happen, they check out. Oh, I'm out of here. I don't have to put up with this. You understand?
Because they think that ain't love. Like you're supposed to have this perfect relationship. Like
or
you're not
perfect
supposed to have
emotion.
Right, like you're not supposed to have any disagreements. Just you don't, if you love me, you're gonna do what I tell you to do, or do what I want to do. I want to go to the movie and see, Top Gun, and your mate don't want to see Top Gun and don't want to go to the movie. Well, you don't love me, and that's ridiculous.
Yes, but that's that premature mindset that comes from our programming and because of the truths that we've adopted. Because some people think that's how love is shown. Yep. Some people think if you're emotional with me, then you love me. Some people think if you take care of me financially, then that means you love me. Some people think, well, you don't have to take care of me financially if you're just there for me when I need to talk or there for me. And those are the truths that we've adopted as our truths. But what happens is when that person finally disappoints you or doesn't do what you think they should do or don't have what you need financially, whatever it is, there are so many people who walk away because they say that that's not love. And it's really not the issue at all.
Well, yes, it's not the issue. And I think it's unfortunate because, I hear some people say, well, I've heard this before. Some women say, oh, well, he may run around with other women, but, he takes care of the house. He makes sure we eat. He makes sure this, makes sure that. But
absolutely. And that's what they've adopted as their truth.
He loves us.
Yeah. And they've adopted that as their truth. And who are we to say you are right or wrong, good or bad? Because then we're adding to what they've already been programmed to believe. You understand what I'm saying? But we could easily assist them by saying, do you feel valued? In order to help them to understand or see a different view of that situation. Absolutely. But do you feel valued? Do you really, why aren't you doing what he's doing? Well, because I love him. Okay, well, if you love him and you're not doing that, how can he love you and he's doing that?
He's
because that's the programming. Yes, and guys, we're talking about these things because these are things that no one talks about. We really need to deal with them. We really need to deal with them because love is very important. And the name of the show, guys, and we're all the way in the middle of the show, that the name of the show is Staying in Receptive Mode. Yes. Staying in reception mode. And why are we talking about this? Because the essence of why we do the show is to get to the heart
of
the matter. So we're always going to get to the heart of the matter regardless. When we're talking about reception is a position, putting yourself in a position to receive. So in order to stay in receptive mode, you have to put yourself in a position to receive. What do you think when I say that? Because I know that's kind of a statement.
Well, I'm a former
football player.
So reception mode. Mm-hmm. You got to find, you got to get open. You got to be, right. The quarterback got to find you. So
that's right. So you have to position
yourself.
Love it. And then what happens?
What happens?
Yeah, once you position yourself, what's the next step in football?
Then the quarterback throws the ball to you.
And then what?
You got to catch it.
You have to
catch it. You have to receive it.
So first key, you have to position yourself to be placed in receptive mode.
Correct.
The next thing you have to do is
receive it.
Receive it. You have to catch. That's your 2 keys. Okay, go ahead. Oh, this is a good football lesson.
After you receive it.
You see, he got happy when we let him talk about football.
After I receive it. This is a good analogy.
I love it. Okay.
And you got to run with it.
You got to run with it. 3, you got to run with it.
In the right direction, in the correct direction, so you can score.
Perfect analogy. In the right direction.
Yes, because you can catch it and run in the wrong direction and
no score.
It would be score for the other team.
Love it.
Not for you.
Love it. So now, you guys, we're going to break this thing all the way down, because that was an amazing analogy, because when we're talking about staying in reception mode, we know we're talking about the heart of the matter.
The heart of the matter.
And we know if we're talking about the heart of the matter, what we're talking about staying in reception mode for is our destiny.
Yes, exactly.
Is our destiny. So now let's break it down in an empowerment session.
Okay.
All right. So you first have to position yourself. How do we position ourselves to receive? What are some of the things? I mean, we've had these talks, and you guys are welcome to call in. You're welcome to share experiences. But we're going to talk about these things because really I'm being challenged with it even more.
Yes.
I'm growing so much and I'm learning so much, but I'm getting the Dickens whipped out of me. You understand what I'm saying? Because so many places I thought I had positioned myself to receive, I realized I hadn't. And so now I got to readjust when I was very comfortable. I
relate. I mean, the last couple of months have been like, I can't even, I'm thinking I'm there. I'm positioning myself. I'm doing all the research. I'm doing
receiving nothing.
And then I'm like, wow, are you serious?
So guys, we always talk about our lives because we want you to know we're on the same journey. We're trying to get to the same place. It's just, if we could just go together, then there's strength in numbers. But see, you have to have the mindset like a receiver.
Yes.
That you are the one who have to make it happen for you. So you may be on a team, but there's one receiver on a team, right?
Yes.
And so although you're part of a team,
there's
well, whatever. Am I messing up the football game?
No, go ahead. I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
For the one play, there's only one receiver for the play, right?
However many you want to be, that's how many it is.
He's messing up my game.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, no, but it's true. Okay, and it's true in this way. If there's more receivers, then okay, that's the team part, right? But the ball ends up only in one hand.
Correct.
How about that?
That is correct.
Okay, so I brought it back down and we adjusted it. Even on the team. This is a girl version, so you guys know how to do it, right? On the team, there's other receivers.
Yes.
But there's one ball. And think of that ball as your destiny.
Okay.
So you have to position yourself to catch your ball, which is to position yourself to receive that ball.
Correct.
Right? So your ball is your destiny. How do we position ourselves to receive what belongs to us, our stuff? We've talked about it in other shows, and we're going to mention it again because I felt like we needed to really talk about this. I kept thinking and trying to, but it wasn't. You know what the lesson is whatever the lesson is for us in this moment and in this time in our lives.
Right.
That's what keeps this real. That's what keeps it motivating. And that's what keeps us where we need to be in our mindset and in our heart. Reception mode is where all of us need to be because there's so many things trying to be delivered to us. But you have to be able to hold the weight of those things. Yes. So when you're asking for things, you have to understand if you can't hold it, there's no point of it being in your hand.
Exactly.
Because as soon as it gets, you're going to drop it. As soon as you drop it, it's going to get dirty. It's no good when it's dirty.
Right.
So you can't have it until you have the strength to hold what you're asking for. And so many of us are asking for things. We're wanting things delivered to us. We're wanting a certain position in life, a certain destiny, but we're not willing to position ourselves. And the way we do that, guys, is one, we have to admit where we are.
In life.
In our emotions, in our strength.
Okay.
In our spiritual being. Remember we talked about we need to, instead of letting the world expose you, the smartest thing would be
expose yourself.
Expose yourself.
Ouch.
Because there's more room out than in. And not only is there more room out than in, Victor, the point is if you empty out what's in, you have room to receive the new.
Yes.
And the new is what you're asking for. Because if you had what you needed, you wouldn't be asking.
Correct.
You guys understand? So that's a very important point. So how do we position ourselves to receive? Admitting where we are. Accepting where we are is very important. And not just doing that, deciding. We talked about goals. You were big on that.
Right.
Setting goals, making plans, even if they're short term and then more long terms. Right. Whatever it is that you can do for you, write it down so that as you see that you achieve more, you get more motivated and more stimulated by you wrote down a goal and you actually achieved it. Then it motivates you. Well, dog, if I could do that, then maybe I could do that. Right. And you will find yourself where you're trying to go.
It's kind of like moving with baby steps.
Absolutely.
You don't want to, if you're not a person that really sets long-term goals or you're not a person that really set goals, you don't want to set something, 5 years down the road or 3 years down the road. You want to set something more like, 30 days or 60 days or 90 days.
Absolutely.
And achieve that and then set something
or
else.
Like me, tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow. Yes. I have a confession with that goal. My goal, one of them is I try to go throughout the whole day without using profanity.
Okay.
And sometimes it's good when I say, today I only use four bad words.
That's a good thing.
Yes. But it's something that I've battled with that I try to, work on. I'm confessing.
Hallelujah.
But I do really good for a few days and then I'll be driving in traffic at 5 o'clock.
Bloop, 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 bloop.
And then a few of them out. But instead of me, what I had first started, I said, okay, well, I'm gonna go a whole month without it, and it never worked.
It was too much, right?
It was, unfortunately.
You have to accept where you are, Victor.
Right. I said, okay. So I broke it down. Finally, I got down to a day. I'm gonna go a day without it, and so, I think I told my wife one time. I said, I've gone 2 days without using a bad word.
That's wonderful.
And she said, I noticed that you haven't said anything.
That's good.
So I'll keep trying.
That's right, and that's what it's about, guys. And that's all we're sharing with you is. Just don't quit.
Just don't quit.
Because
keep trying.
You have to deal with yourself where you are. And Victor and I have talked over and over again. And one thing about Victor is a lot more stable and disciplined in a lot of areas that I'm very weak in. But I accept my weakness. You understand? As I work on becoming stronger, I accept myself as perfect just the way I am.
You're very good at that.
And I appreciate that about this mode and this space that I live in, my life space, because of discipline. And so when I set my goals, because I do set goals, I set goals for the next hour and the next, because that's how it works for me. Okay. If I set goals for 30 days, it would be more like, well, I'm going to try to make sure I jog 30 days, or I'll try to make sure I do. It'll be something that's not so personal or intense for me, because anything that starts to deal with my psyche up in here, I have to stay up on myself constantly and stay aware of it. And I have to force myself, because my programming was so intense in the realm of negativity, that what will happen is I was very easily discouraged. Okay. So because I know that that is something that can happen, what I do is I set goals where I don't give myself time to fail in an extreme way where I feel like I'm lacking something. So I'll say, well, I'll go today and I won't do this.
But the key to that, what you just said, is that you are aware.
I'm aware. Reception mode.
You know what I'm saying?
You have to stay in reception mode of you.
What's that we use when we say you have the blinder zone, or you're delusional?
Absolutely.
Okay, because you're not really you're not admitting what your faults are or what you're weak at, and so you are aware of what you are weak at.
Absolutely.
So that is the big step.
Because of acceptance, though, and that's the thing you and I just talked about, because it's like saying I'm not going to say a profane word for 30 days is not acceptance. But you went back and you reevaluated. Okay, this is not going to work, so I'm going to break it down to a day. And you've had a lot more success. You really want to. And we're going to always come back to that, because that's the heart of the matter. The heart of the matter is choices have consequences. And really all we're doing and all that we're trying to do, the way to get from here to where we're trying to go, choices. Yes. Choices are those seeds that we talked about that either bear good fruit
or sour fruit.
But remember, nobody tells anybody about the tree with the sour fruit except to stay away from it. Nope. So we want to have good fruit off of our lives. We want to produce good things so that the things that we're trying to attract are attracted to us. And they're only attracted to sweetness and the sweet fruit that we will produce.
Yeah, we want sweet fruit.
That's right.
If somebody wants sour fruit, then they can go have that trio that
That's right.
Sour fruit.
But they'll be the only one over there.
You know what I'm saying? I won't be with them, and I know you won't. So.
No, and guys, this is the kind of stuff that we want to talk about. So when we were talking about positioning ourselves, we're going to go back to being in reception mode. So we're in reception mode. So now we know we have to practice acceptance to get in reception mode.
Yes.
We have to, what was it?
Where we're at. We have to accept where we're at in life.
Absolutely. You have to be humble enough to open yourself up, because you said you have to put yourself in a position to receive. Yes. In order to put yourself in a position to receive, you literally have to put yourself in a vulnerable position so that person who's throwing the ball to you can see you. Right?
That's true.
So
he might throw it high.
That's right. So this is humility. This is another key. Because in order for you to put yourself in a vulnerable position in a relationship or in your career or anything like that, you have to be in a place where people can see you. A lot of times that's a very scary place for us.
It is.
Vulnerable places are very scary places, but in order to receive, you have to be in sight of whatever's coming to you. So that's another thing. Okay, and then you said you have to catch it.
Yes, you have to.
The only way to catch what's coming at you is you have to want it. That passion that Victor just said, but I'm going to do this because I really, really want it. You could hear in his voice, and you could sense in his spirit, that's a goal that he has that he really, really, really is going to defeat. Absolutely. Why? Because he has a passion to defeat it. And it's no different than our passions, whatever they are, whether they're to stop doing something that we're doing or to gain some more skills or whatever it is, to be able to communicate more effectively in our relationships.
I think that's a good
right?
Goal right there, yeah.
To be able to correctly, what do you call it? Express anger. Because anger is not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
No, but the way we express it.
I was just about to say that. You see people, I've talked to guys all the time and women who talk about they want to be able to control their anger.
Absolutely.
Not be spontaneous. The word I'm looking for. There's a specific word I'm looking for.
Reactive.
But, where you just say something.
Reactive.
Without thinking. They want to be able to control their tongue. Even when they're in the midst of an argument or the midst of anger, they want to be able to stay calm throughout that. And I think that is just an absolute perfect goal. I know my father many years ago worked on that through a little counseling. Because when people get, you can see a different side of a person when they get upset and they can say things that they really, I don't know if they mean or don't mean, but they
they mean it. They mean it. They just didn't want it to come out.
I'd rather for you to say stuff to me that you really mean than say stuff that you don't mean. At least I know how you feel. So if I get, so if it takes me getting you upset or getting you a few drinks in you and you tell me how you feel, then at least I know.
And that's a good point, because I don't know how many shows it was, but we talked about effective communication. You remember?
Yes.
And we talked about the difference between reacting and responding. You remember?
I remember.
Yes.
I remember.
So reacting or responding really come from you choosing. Again, we're always going to come back to the heart of the matter. A lot of people use the justification that they don't have any control.
That's
but
reacting.
it's not that you don't have control, it's that you're choosing to respond or react to some type of stimuli. So one of the examples we could use is this. You got your boys, because I know you got some boys that they're your boys. All right. So your boys say, oh, so-and-so, that punk shirt you got on, that's a shirt you got on.
My pink shirt.
Yeah, your little pink shirt. Yeah. Well, that little girly shirt. I'm using girly because they would probably use some other words.
Yeah, they would use some
other
words.
So
they have.
You got your pink shirt, right? And you're like, oh, well, I won't even use that, but you guys got that man dialogue. I don't care what you're talking about. La, 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 la. I like my pink shirt.
I do.
Yeah. And so say your wife says, I don't like that pink shirt. That's really a sissy looking shirt on you. I don't like that. You'll be like, who are you talking to? Now, it's the same shirt. Right. It's the same response. But because of who it's coming from, you decided that person's not in a position to be able to speak to you or say those type of things. Because when she says it, it's disrespect. She used the same exact words as your boy, but he was playing.
Right.
So but we try to justify that it's that we don't have control over our anger. No, you decided that your wife can do this, this, and this, but not this. But your boys, they can do this, this, and this, as long as they don't be over there trying to get with your wife. They got limits, but they can talk about you. They can do different things. But this is what people do. Really, it's not about the anger. It's about your decision to react or to respond to something.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because, let me just use a perfect example. Hopefully I won't offend no one, but it's no more different than when a black person calls another black person the N-word, and it's, it's not, even in an argument, I've seen black people argue with each other, say, oh, you ain't nothing but whatever. It's like, whatever, right? But then let someone else of a different race call them that. There's a different reaction to
Absolutely, because it's a choice.
It's a choice.
It's the same thing, but we don't reason it that way.
No.
And that's a very important thing because it handicaps us as people and as individuals to where we use that as an excuse. But what you don't understand is you're putting a nail in your coffin for growth.
Right.
Because reacting is simply a decision to respond a certain way.
Yes, it is.
Response is a decision to react a certain way.
Right.
So they're the same, but not the same, because it's really about what you decided to do. Who are you talking to me? Why would you talk about my pink shirt? Well, don't say that. Why are you gonna call my pink shirt girly? But your boy just called your pink shirt girly, and it was a joke. Yeah. You understand? So, guys, we have to get real about stuff, and we have to get real about the fact that a lot of the things that we do are just simply choice.
Right.
It's simply choice. But if we could only get real about it, then we can go to the next level because we've defeated that level. We've overcome that grade. We've passed that test that, you know what, I got issues. You understand? Like, I got issues. So, with me, and I can share because you guys know I don't care. I'm going to share.
Issues.
Yes. I know I have issues. You know what I mean? And I am seeing them more clearly in a certain area of my life lately, in this relationship area.
Give me an example. Give us an example.
An example.
Yes.
Let me see. Let me give you an example. Okay. I said, this gentleman said to me 2 days ago, right? He said, I don't understand why I shouldn't be dating, right?
Why he shouldn't be?
Why he shouldn't be dating, because we were talking about some things, right?
Why he should not be
Why
dating.
he shouldn't. But it's, we've talked about some different things that have gone on, and he has a lot of pain and hurt from the previous relationship, and it hasn't been that long, okay? So I said, I didn't say you shouldn't be dating. I said that in the state that you're in, if you date,
you'll be vulnerable.
As soon as that person does something you don't like, they're going to become your ex-wife.
Oh.
Because you haven't gotten past that yet.
Right.
You haven't went there yet. And so we ended up talking back and forth about some things. And I said, it's not about you not dating. It's about you taking the time to love yourself and grow and heal first, so that when you go into a relationship, it's fair. It's fair because you're not projecting the things that you've experienced or that you're feeling onto someone else. This person could be the best person in the world, but if you're not past that hurt, what happens is as soon as they say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, come in late for work, say that they're, and they could really be working, even though she wasn't really working late. She was doing some other things. You understand? Little things that wouldn't normally trigger you will trigger you because it'll remind you of your past. Okay. And so, we talked back and forth over and over again until finally he said, well, I don't understand why, I don't understand why it's a big deal or something, he said. And then he said, I don't even know how to talk to women. I spent all these years with this woman, and I don't even know how, now I'm single and I don't even know how to address women. And I said to him, that's a lie, because the first time I met you, you asked me out. You know what I mean? Like, I know, I'm here right now, but... I just need somebody like you in my life. And if I only had somebody like you in my life, and this is where my issue comes in. Why are you trying to drag me into your BS? You understand? Because that's when that Lorena comes.
That's when you...
because I've already been there. And not only have I been there, it's nothing on this person. It's really not. Because that was a personal Lorena moment.
Right.
But you already know that you're broken. You already know that you have all these things going on and that you need so much. But if you see me as so valuable, this is the difference between love. Love would say, maybe she'll be around when I get better. Maybe, this will motivate me because there are some good girls still out there. Let me go. I really need to take this time really, really and get myself together so that I can get a girl, but no, it was about victimizing someone else. Mm-hmm. But because I can see that very clearly, my thing was, why you want to drag me in your BS? Right. Because you over here broken, you tore up, now you trying to tear up my life. I don't do that type of stuff. You're not going to be, and so it went from one thing to the other until I realized, Lorena, this is really your issue because he's not hearing the thing you're saying. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I'm saying that. I know that why do I have an issue with that? Why can I see it? Because I victimize people. Mm-hmm. I have victimized people. When I was hurt, I got involved in relationships, and I shared that. I got involved with relationships, and I was not healthy. Now, did I get hurt by those relationships? I 100% did get hurt by them. But I wasn't their victim. They were mine.
Because you made a choice.
Because I made a choice. Right. And I tried to use them to forget about my past. Consciously. They were trying to use me to forget about their past. Consciously. So I wasn't their victim. I wasn't their victim and they weren't mine, but we were victims of ourselves. So it makes sense?
Yes. You have to reap the consequences of that.
Absolutely. And so how do we get to our destiny, which is what we're talking about today? How do we get it? First of all, like I'm doing, you got to just totally put yourself out there. Just expose yourself. Because, see, it doesn't matter what finger comes at me. I already told it anyway, regardless. The other thing is you have to be free enough so that you can fly. Because remember, we're not human beings having spiritual experiences.
We're spiritual beings having human being experiences.
Absolutely. And because of that, we really don't have limits of how high we can soar. But if we live and limit ourselves to our human experience, then that's when we hide. That's when we need the mask.
And we don't want to hide.
That's right. And that's when we put on the mask. But as long as you're wearing a mask and pretending to be somebody that you're not, you'll never be able to get where you're going because you first have to expose where you're at.
And you'll never be able to get to the heart of the matter.
Absolutely. Never. You guys get it? So it's really very important because getting to the heart of the matter is no different than me, than you. We all have things going on. We all are dealing with things, guys. But what we're trying to say is we still have these amazing things waiting for us down the road. But you can't have them until you're mature enough to be responsible with that type of value. And so that's why I was sharing, I've been getting it, getting the, whooped out of me on a spiritual level, on an emotional level. But I'm willing because I'm going through that fire. I'm going to go through it because, see, that fire on the other side of it, that's where my stuff at.
That's where stuff at.
That's where my man at. That's where everything at. You know what I mean? And so how bad is that passion that you have to stop? I have a passion to see out everything I was created for, to do all the things that I was literally handmade for in this world. The only way I'm going to be able to do it is I got to go through the things that are training me for my expertise. Remember, we're all soldiers.
We are.
And our experiences are our push-ups. And our experiences are our pull-ups. Right. And our experiences is that lap that we got to run in a certain amount of time. That's right. And so the fire that we have to endure, the fire are our trials and our tribulations. None of those things can defeat you. So you can quit. That's the only thing.
It's a preparation that is occurring, is what's happening. And people have to understand that. That for me, it motivates me when I just know that, that there are not mistakes that I have. They're just experiences that either I learn from or I don't learn from. Mm-hmm. Hopefully it's a learning experience.
Okay.
And I know that the trials that I experience, eventually it's going to be a breakthrough, and then I'll see exactly why.
Absolutely. Your name is Victor.
Winner. That's what that means.
Victor.
Winner.
Victor. Guys, and that's how serious it is. Yes. We joke, Victor and I always gonna joke. But It's very important because life really is fun. You know what I mean?
It is.
And even the trials that we go through, even the things that have been stripped from me, literally stripped from me, I'm grateful for those things because every time something is shifting, I know my stuff is moving because there's this thing, you know, and while it's moving, my stuff is coming, you know? And you got to think about it that way, guys, because so many are going through 2014. Again, I am going to say it until I can't say it anymore. There has been a shift. And you guys, I'm telling you, if you don't shift with the shift, you can stay where you are and it's okay. No issues whatsoever.
Be content.
That's right. But don't be a hater when you see the ones who are willing to shift
with the shift,
get their stuff.
Right.
Because that's what it's really about. It's simply about change, refinement, growth, maturity. That comes with a shift. All of that means movement. Think about it. Growth is movement, is change. Refinement, movement. Development, movement. Overtime, maturity, movement.
Yes.
You can't be called a mature man if you once weren't a boy.
Yes.
So that's what's happening. So those of us who are fighting change, we are going to end up having to take this test again. I don't want to take the test again. I've been taking it for 46 years. You understand? Like I'm ready to see my destiny. I'm ready to see the fruit come from my tree.
Let me ask you. We were talking about receiving earlier.
Absolutely, right? Reception mode.
Right. We were using the football analogy, but see, here's something that our listeners need to understand as well. That you and I understand is that there will be times that when you attempt to put yourself in a position, when you put yourself in a position, and the ball isn't thrown to you, but you have to keep putting yourself in a position.
Love it. Love it. Yes.
Even when it doesn't come your way, you just have to continue to do that because at some point that ball is going to be thrown to you and you have to be ready to receive the ball.
That's right. And you got to stay aware in order to know when it's being thrown to you.
Because you don't know when that chance may come again.
That's right.
But we have to emphasize that people have to be persistent in their daily lives. When we're talking about spiritual growth, we're talking about change and all that. We have to be persistent.
Absolutely.
Even when things don't transpire, whether it's through that day or whether it's through that week or whatever it may be, they don't transpire the way that we had hoped for it to. You just got to continue to push forward, continue to stay on your path, and eventually it'll all work out.
That's right. And that's what it's all about. Think about it. You know, a baby when it's born is an innocent little being. But how does it get to be an adult? Through time and development, constant feeding and feeding and feeding and feeding. But not just that, exercising those muscles, making them stronger. Yes. They become more and more independent. The more that you give them what they need, you give them the nutrition they need to grow and to develop into strong bodies and beings. Their brain develops because of the type of food you give them. All these things are very important until that person becomes an adult. Yes. So that's what we're doing through our experiences. We're being developed. We started out as babies. Your age physically has nothing to do with your age spiritually. And a lot of people mix that up. It's okay for you to take beginner steps, no matter what age you are, no matter what place you are in your life. If you just start taking the beginner steps, you will eventually be running. And then you will eventually be winning the races. Right? Yes. So it's simply about never quitting. Never quitting. I was talking about you to D.
That's why my ears are burning.
Talking about you to D. And she's the one who told me, you know what Victor means, right? And I said, what? And she was like, Victor, Victor.
Who was the victor? Between San Antonio and Miami?
San Antonio?
They were the victor.
He just had to throw that out there.
They were the victor.
We weren't gonna raise that up. But
I'm a Miami Heat fan. Miami everything. Dolphins, Marlins.
Also, that's good that he brought that up then, because he's being humble now.
I accepted that. I accepted the loss. It was painful. But victor means winner.
That's lovely, awesome.
And so, I got a good name.
You have a beautiful name.
I have to live up to that name.
That's right, and you already have.
Thank you.
You just have to discover that.
Thank you.
Because you already are.
And now we want to help other people.
Absolutely.
Winners and champions.
Yes. But we can't all name you Victor. So just know you're a Victor regardless. Everybody can't be named Victor. We'd all be confused. But it's beautiful. Just the idea of it. Just the idea that we're all victors. We really are all victors, with all jokes aside, because we were created to be all victors,
yes.
And remember, we were sent to this world with everything that we needed inside of us. But through our experiences and through life and our programming, right? Yes. A lot of things were stripped from us, but we are getting it back a little bit at a time, but you have to choose to want it back. It's like Victor was saying, you may be in reception mode, but if the ball doesn't come, you don't throw up your hands and stop looking for the ball. You got to keep your eye on it. And then when it comes to you, you can't just watch it. You got to reach out and grab it. Mm-hmm. And with your destiny and with the things that you want out of life, you got to reach out and you have to grab it. And not only that, his next step was, when you do it, you have to run with it the right way.
The right direction.
I love the right direction part, because remember, how do we determine what the right direction is? We are destined to do certain things. How do you know what your destiny is? How do you know which path you should be on? You set your goals. You find out, what do I really want out of life? It doesn't have to be material. It could be peace. It could be joy. Mm-hmm. It could be a relationship. Everybody doesn't want to be rich, and it's okay if you don't want to be rich. It's okay if you don't even want to be middle class. It's okay if you want to be on a farm. But make a decision for yourself. What enhances you? What brings you joy? Where does your peace lie? And that's how you know which path to take, because that's how you would determine the choices that you make. When he said run with it in the right way would be to the things that you want out of life. Your right way are the benefits of what you want to see in this lifetime, where that you, in the end of your race, have no regrets.
None.
That's very important.
It is.
Because so many people, they live and they live and they live, and all they do is exist. But at the end, if they become grandparents or you'll hear them telling those stories. Grandma really wanted to be a dancer, but she thought it was more important to marry and have the children. And then her and Grandpa, they loved each other so much. And then Susie, who's Grandma's daughter, will say, well, Linda wants to be a dancer. Make sure you let that girl be a dancer, because she needs to live her life through her granddaughter. But we don't really have to do those things if we just choose us. Yeah. And if we just choose truth, and the truth is who we are in essence. That's where we come from. We come from a truth. We're created by a truth. We're created by the truth. The heart of the matter is that we were created by God, who is the ultimate of all. There's nothing greater than him. There's nothing higher than him. There's nothing on heaven or on earth that will ever touch him. And if we came from him, that's how amazing we are. We're wonderfully made. And so the limits that we put on ourselves are only put on ourselves by us. Yes. So why are we talking about staying in reception mode? Because there's a constant conspiracy, and we will continue to talk about this. There's a constant conspiracy, and it is conspiring to get you to your destiny, so that you will see whatever you want, whatever hope you have, whatever joy you're looking for, whatever peace. But there's another conspiracy in the same way, conspiring to keep you from your destiny. that conspiracy you have to be aware of. And that conspiracy really is the inner me. Because honestly, guys, we are 100% free to do whatever we want to do. And we can do really whatever we set our minds to do, because there's really no limits on a spiritual being having human experiences, right? But the issue is this. The inner me says, I can do this, but I can't do that. I can go here, but I can't go there. I always wished I could, but that's just a wish.
That's that programming coming into
effect. 100%. But it's an adoption of the truths.
Yeah. But see, when we break out on our own and we start using free will, then we can empower ourselves to block that out, whether it be through affirmations like you had, hanging on your mirror.
Yeah.
Okay.
He actually listens to me sometimes. I
listen to you all the time. And we can overcome it, because some people need more motivation
absolutely
than others. But whatever it takes,
find whatever works for you.
For you to block out all that negativity or that fight with your inner self telling you, self-doubt, do whatever it takes. Because when you set your mind to it, when you really committed to obtaining your goal or whatever it is, you can do that.
Right.
And you don't have to listen to all that negative stuff.
That's right. And anytime anything negative come in your mind, say out loud something positive. I can do this. I will do this. Like you said, I will defeat this. All you have to do is combat that negative with a positive, and the positive will always win. Always speak verbally something very positive anytime a negative thought comes into your mind.
It can be anything.
Anything. And we want you guys to know that we really value your opinions. You are welcome to call anytime. We are grateful for your time. We're grateful for you spending another live session with the Heart of the Matter. Victor has something to ask.
You were talking earlier about the dancer. You said some grandma. You were using a little story. But, I mean, don't you want to know, like, what type of dancer that person was?
No, we don't want to know. That's that MAN coming out in here.
I mean, if it's my daughter, I want to know what type of dancer you talking about being, right?
Well, yes. But, yeah, that's
Daddy,
true.
I want to be a dancer.
That's true.
No,
like, okay, let's talk. Me and Dad and I are going to have some ice cream. So, anyway, guys, remember, it's very important, because I want to say this. There's I don't know if it was a poem or whatever, but we're going to end with this. If you really, really love something, you will let it go. And if it really belongs to you, it will surely fly back. And I remember hearing that very young, because there's so many different things. But if you love something, let it go. And if it belongs to you, it will come back around. So we love you guys, and we thank you so much for joining us for another live session of The Heart of the Matter.
Thank you for joining us.
Good night. Thank you for joining us.
Now
The Heart of the Matter is impacting lives globally. You're invited to tune in with Lorena Jefferson every Tuesday at 7 p.m. here at Talkwad Studios for more tools of empowerment and inspiration. For more information, contact Lorena at prestigewellnesscenter2@yahoo.com or by phone at area code 813-273-8700. Until next time, remember, mystics swim in the same water that psychotics drown in. It's simply a choice of how you see the water. This program was brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization, setting the standard for new media broadcasting.